Lowdown31, whose real name I believe is John, has his own website, Keep It Simple, where he describes himself as an independent, fundamentalist Baptist. In one of his YouTube videos, he asserts that while atheists accuse Christians of believing in fairy tales, that they, the atheists, are themselves believers in fairy tales. Scientific fairy tales, he clarifies, but fairy tales nonetheless. What we really have, though, is just another example of an apologist who doesn't understand atheism or science. Apparently, some atheists have been arguing with John about not understanding evolution, but evolution is not what is sticking in John's craw.
The point is not understanding evolution. The point is where and how did life come from non-life? Well, go see abiogenesis. Well, that's still a theory, and even if science was able to simulate a way that it could happen in the lab, it still doesn't mean it happened in that way. So if I'm to use the atheist's own standard of knowledge and apply it to his own views, I would have to conclude that he believes in fairy tales just like he claims that I do. Well, how can I say that? Well, let's just use your own standard. I see no evidence of a God out there, so because I don't see any evidence that's right in front of my face, therefore I conclude there's no God. If that's your standard of knowledge, abiogenesis, there's no way we could possibly know how it occurred. We don't know how it occurred. We don't have a clue that it occurred, and we've seen nothing in science so far to suggest that could even occur. So if we have no evidence that it's occurred, we have no evidence that we could know for sure that it occurred, isn't that just as much of a fairy tale? As if I'm to use the atheist standard of knowledge and I apply that to what the atheist currently believes scientifically, then he believes in a scientific fairy tale.
Brainstorming about the origin of life, given what we currently know about chemistry, biology, and the early Earth, is nothing like believing in a fairy tale. Ideas born of these exercises are called hypotheses. Hypotheses can be tested to find out if they have support for observable phenomena. And you are correct that if scientists were able to duplicate the formation of life in a laboratory, that this formation may not be an exact duplication of the true origin of life on our planet, but it would certainly give us one highly probable way in which it happened, from which other experiments could follow. A fairy tale, on the other hand, is not a hypothesis. It is a story. Sometimes it is a story used to tell a moral or lesson. For example, the story of 3 pigs who build their homes with straw, sticks, or brick teaches a lesson of proper planning, hard work, and commitment. The Bible is full of fairy tales, and why wouldn't it be? It tells stories which have a moral lesson in the context of the religion of the Israelites and early Christians. One such story is of a man who constructs a large boat which is used to carry 2 representatives of every animal on earth. A God is going to send a flood upon the earth to destroy all living things because human beings, everyone except the man building the boat, have become wicked and unfaithful to this God. The lesson of the tale is clear. Be faithful to this God, be a good person, and this God will favor you. But some people are confused and believe the story of the man with the boat and all the animals is a true story of history. They believe that the story of the man and the boat is a recollection of something that actually occurred, like the Battle of Waterloo, the American Civil War, or the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing, China. This is just as absurd as believing that, once upon a time, 3 little pigs once built houses made of straw, sticks, and bricks, all to avoid the ravenous appetite of a big bad wolf with an incredible set of lungs. Making it all the worse, these same confused people actually spend time and money trying to seek evidence for the existence of the man and his boat and the flood, which the story claims covered the entire world. Locating isolated so-called evidence, these folks use this to support their claim that the story of the man and his boat is historical. But what they do is akin to finding a few stalks of straw, a handful of sticks, a pile of broken bricks, and a pig bone. and claim that this is evidence of the factual nature of the Three Little Pigs story. Atheists don't believe in fairy tales. Atheists merely don't believe in the assertion that a God exists, and this is because of the absolute lack of convincing evidence provided by the theists, those that do assert a God exists. Nothing more. Scientists of all stripes, both atheist and theist, don't work on fairy tales. They work with facts, hypotheses, and experimentation. Speaking for myself, as both an atheist and as someone who accepts biological evolution and the non-supernatural origin of life, I can say that I accept no fairy tales, scientific or otherwise. I think that a vast majority of other atheists would agree with me that while we reject supernatural tales of life's origins, we do not latch onto any or all proposed scientific, non-supernatural explanations for the origin of life. The fact of the matter is that no one knows how life originated on our planet. But if the history of scientific discovery has taught us one thing, it is that when answers to our most perplexing questions are finally uncovered, we have never found a God behind the curtain, pulling levers and directing the show. So while creationists like John scoff at scientific hypotheses like those regarding abiogenesis, or the origins of life, when they fail to include ghosts and spirits, gods and demons, calling them instead scientific fairy tales, what they are really doing is showing us their fear of advancing human knowledge and a contempt for the scientific method. They are not aware that science works off of sometimes startling new ideas. As Isaac Newton noted, no great discovery was ever made without a bold guess.